The secret at the heart of the universe, the secret at the heart of the universe is you.
The secret at the heart of the universe is you. The secret at the heart of the universe is you. Yes, that's what David Buchbinder is saying in the interview, sure. But that's what he's been saying his entire life. For David Buchbinder, it all began with a naked woman coated in whipped cream. She graced the album cover of trumpet guru Herb Alpert. As sacrilegious as that nudity was to young David, it lured him into the music within. When punchy notes smacked swift into his ears, he knew this was it. The trumpet was the instrument he'd always want in his hands, as if it were an extension of his fingers. What is it about the trumpet? David says, it can declare more than any other instrument. A true clarion call, but also a chameleon. Powerful, dramatic, demonstrative. It can shift into a sly caress, wrapping you in the silk of its notes. A trumpet can be sexy for miles, but also get you dizzy as tennis ball cheeks blast its presence, rocketing bars giving the musician an arm strong enough to curl the weight of the trumpet's storied legacy. When David was growing up, he couldn't relate to Zionism. Being Jewish, he recalls, was all about Israel and whether you supported statehood. He needed something else to connect to his people. For David, music was a mirage in a desert where he felt constantly parched. So he rehearsed, studied, and jumped on stages with the swagger of someone who knew this was not going to be just a hobby. David tells me, absorb the range of color a trumpet can boast. So I play his albums. And I take in the jazz, funk, and klezmer swaying from my speakers. And it's the klezmer that flaunts its mosaic most vividly. Frigid scale blue ripples with each clarinet trill. Guitar chords cascade over the red of blood sacrificed by ancestors. Green is for the tree canopy over Romani during Bulgar violin dances. And then the trumpet's dialogue takes me back, like a certain buffet tripwired memories of exquisite kiddishes. And I'm at a sanctuary, at my brother's shul, or is it my father's old shul, both cantors, both ordaining congregations with shofar blasts that could shatter Jericho a second time. Klezmer declares proudly the melodies of celebrating in the now, because Jews have to cherish what they have before it gets taken away from us like it has so many times before. Klezmer reminds me to get cliche and embrace today, even if the past is caked with dry tears. It's both a sweaty horror and a solemn hug, if that makes sense. And it doesn't always to me. But that's what David is teaching me about music. You feel it in your gut, especially when logic takes a smoke break. For David, with klezmer, it's like they've been buddies for years. And the two became real close when he founded the Flying Bulgars in 1987. Klezmer is threaded with the stories of our people. It drapes us with a Jewish experience. And it's not all Samson and Solomon, but also pogroms and anti-Semitism. What I experience listening to klezmer is captured by David when he says, "It woke up my ancestral roots." I picture David backstage, eyes closed, deep in memory. Then he takes the stage, faces the audience, raises horn to lips, the two becoming one, the quelling and fetching spill out of his horn like he was born to tell this story this way. David knows who he is, and he realizes to light the path forward, you can be the candle, sure, but you can also be the mirror that reflects it. If you've been to the Ashkenaz Festival at the Harbourfront Centre, you've danced in David's playground. It's his baby, he made it. Now, he left it, but, he's doing just fine without him. It's a festival of artistic Jewishkeit, and also embraces Ukrainian, Roma, and pan-Eastern European music. The Ashkenaz Festival connects disparate communities that might not have mingled in the same dance halls before. When he left Ashkenaz, he ran away with the circus, kind of. He created Shurumburum, a circus arts jazz bonanza, a wild curation of avant-garde overtures, eclectic choreography, and multimedia madness. Yeah, it's every and anything all at once, but it swayed the wider music industry. Shurumburum took home a Juno in 2006 for its self-titled album. Since then, David has been busy with bands like the Jazz Ensemble, Odessa Havana, and Nomatica. Our calling can't be put into GPS. Instead, we can play a different kind of cartographer, one who makes maps out of the fabric of opportunity, leading us to the roads where we belong. And David didn't always feel at home with the minutiae of Jewish tradition. But with music, he found something he could find a way to help him get to the community, to the culture. He found it. And maybe you haven't found it yet. There's no hurry. Why in such a rush? For years, I stiff-armed invites to Jew-do's like the matzah ball on Christmas Eve. And I turned my back on holiday fasting and Purim dress-up. I was playing tag with Judaism. No, I don't want to be it. Stop trying to find me. Thing is, I was blurry, like that guy in a documentary who didn't sign the film's consent form. Only now am I learning to slip out of the haze of sliding scale apathy. Like David, I found my instrument, but it makes a different kind of music. This time flowing from veins to fingertips to paper. It's always been with me. And now I'm letting writing harmonize with who I am and where I've come from. When I asked David what he would put on any public billboard for all to see, he says, the secret at the heart of the universe is you. I asked him to elaborate, and he says, you have access to more resources than you know. If you could find your way to that, you can create something important from the story of your life.